Libya is in a critical moment today. We have a UN-led negotiation process, a political dialogue process that is being carried out by Bernardino Leon, and it's in a critical phase because on the ground we have sort of two main factions. Within these two factions there are those who are more willing to accept the idea of a political compromise or a dialogue, and then there are those on the extremes of both factions who actually seem to still be keen to carry out a war and win by military means. Now the focus of the international community has to be to bring everybody to the table, even those that are currently still invoking the right to fight it out by military means. And the only way that the international community can address this problem and bring everybody to the table is to send a clear message. And that clear message has to be no arms, no weapons to either faction, and no money to either faction. Now, what means does the international community have to implement such a message? One is a stricter enforcement of the current arms embargo and resisting the temptation that was discussed last week in the Security Council to loosen the embargo for the legitimate government in Tobruk. And the second means that the international community has at its disposal in order to prevent the two factions from trying to fight it out in economic terms, so compete over the control of the financial resources, is to start thinking about placing Libya's financial institutions in some kind of international let's say international support mechanism. At the moment, Libya is heading towards bankruptcy. It's running a budget deficit of about $3 billion a month, and there's a risk that within 18 months the country could be penniless, and that would entail graver humanitarian situation than it is currently. So this is a critical moment for Libya. The focus of regional actors and the broader international community has to be to clinch a political deal and not undermining it. The current boisterous attempts made by Egypt to push for a military solution in Libya are dangerous, and even though there is an ISIS threat or the threat of the caliphate, that reactions to those should be dangerous reactions to these threats should be avoided.